Moving on the hot seat, Eloelo has bagged 114.3 crore rupees in its Series B funding to expand into new markets and accelerate its monetization efforts. The round was led by Singapore-based venture capital firm Play Ventures, with participation from new and existing investors such as Kalari Capital, Mixi Investments, Gamescraft Technologies, Griffin Gaming Partners, and others. With this investment, Eloelo has raised over $50 million in funding to date. Joining me now to discuss this further is its founder and CEO, Saurabh Pandey. Saurabh, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on Startup Street, and congratulations on raising these funds. You know, we spoke last year when you had raised funds as well at that time. So what has been the most successful, monetization levers for you so far, and how do you plan to scale your $60 million run rate goal?
Excellent. The way we've been building this, it's very interesting because it's been monetizing in a manner which traditional consumer platforms don't monetize. Traditionally, you would see a lot of people running ads or doing subscriptions. Eloelo is essentially an opt-in based platform, where as a consumer, you can continue to choose to use it for free. But if you like it, or if you're really enjoying the platform, you could buy our virtual currencies and you could gift creators, you could engage with creators on interactive live streams, which basically helps creators make a lot of income directly from their fans. So think of the meta thought as enabling creators to break the wall and directly monetize from their super fans, as opposed to relying on brands or intermediaries to give them some gigs and make money. The whole thought has been that from 0 to 200 crore run rate, what has got us here is our platform engagement, our localization. The platform is very popular in Bengali, Tamil, Telugu, now launched in Malayalam, Kannada, Marathi, Punjabi, so multiple languages. And now we continue to double down on each of those languages, launch more and more use cases so creators can now do their own battles. Sometimes it's about newer types of creators. We have astrologers, singers, performers who come live, host their own shows on Eloelo and are able to monetize at massive scale. So the journey from 23 million to 60 million would be about doubling down a lot on what we already do, along with launching more languages, as well as hopefully taking Eloelo international. We are looking at the Middle East. We are looking at other emerging economies and countries where the product is especially popular. Of course, starts with the Indian diaspora and then other use cases. And while doing this, we want to ensure creator growth. So, yeah.
All right, so ensuring creator growth, more avenues for monetization. If we could look at your numbers, you reported a revenue of 4.8 crore rupees in FY24, but your losses also widened to 99.1 crore rupees. But obviously, this was before you monetized and had all of these monetization levers, right? So what's the target for this year, and how do you plan to reduce the losses?
All I would say is wait for our official official filings. Our losses would have come down. Our revenue has scaled massively from May 24 to March of this year, March 25. And for this year, where we are at, April 25 onwards, we hope to exit at a 500 crore, 600 crore kind of an annual run rate when we reach March 26. And we hope to achieve unit economic profitability. That is at least CM2, CM3 level profitability. That is what we are currently targeting. And then scale it from there. One thing I'm very proud of is the way creators are able to earn a share and monetize at scale. So if we can continue enabling that while still being profitable, it would be great.
So looking at some level of profitability there, you've also raised this $13.5 million, right? How do you plan to spend these funds? What's on the agenda?
So to be honest, we already had quite a few funds parked from our previous 22 million raise. So with that and with this, we feel we are adequately well capitalized. The usage of funds would predominantly be in 3 areas. One would be doubling down on technology. We have multiple use cases on creator tools on the AI side, right from AI and AR filters to interactions, etc., for them to monetize and create even better sort of live shows. Number 2 would be our international expansion and the way we are looking at more countries, doubling down on user growth, etc. And number 3 would be allied use cases. We are looking at possibly more apps in future within the same space. The whole ethos would continue that wherever we can empower creators to monetize and grow at scale, we would want to play in those areas. So these 3 use cases of monetization predominantly.
Right. And, you also spoke a little bit about international expansion, right? So could you talk to us about the kind of diaspora markets that you're targeting, and how do you sort of plan to localize the product for these audiences?
So at this point of time, the first thing we would want to look at is Indian diaspora. So we have so many folks who are living in the Middle East, in Latam, North Africa, other sorts of Asian regions as well, who speak our languages. Like I said, very, very popular in Southern languages, Eastern languages, other languages. The first use case would be to go to those users and establish that community. Eloelo is extremely popular on local language speakers who love to form their digital communities here. So I think that would be the first thing. And once we see a lot of success there, is where we could double down on other languages, which would be typically languages in those countries that are predominantly spoken. But the first step is that help our Indian creators get a broader audience. For that, we would be using AI around transcription, speech to speech translation, and many other use cases. So think of it as somebody who was passionate to become a streamer or a creator. They should not be bound by a geography that I can only talk to people in this area. And they should be able to talk to people globally, provided we are able to solve for reach as well as translation, transcription, and other use cases.
Right. And also, what are your key metrics around daily engagement and retention? And how are you continuing to build habit loops, especially around, live content, games, as well as gifting?
It's an excellent point. And let me double down on that in two sort of aspects. Number one around this has been we focus a lot on essentially establishing activation. What that would mean is that because this is a new category creation approach, a lot of users need to get the app, need to get the flows, and need to do the bare activities for them to be constituted as an activated retained user. There's no point just acquiring users and having a leaky funnel. So really sort of being very tight around activation metrics, ensuring that there are multiple live rooms entered. The real number there is around engagement, and how do we get users to spend close to about 30 minutes a day on the platform? That becomes number one that we want to solve. And from then on, it is the paid user journey. How do we sort of convert users from free to paid and then trade up into various cohorts? Over there, our number one sort of use case why we are able to do that so successfully right now is the fact that we are an extremely localized platform. Now imagine, right? Like if you speak Bengali or if you speak Punjabi, and if you like singers, there is a content creator on Eloelo who's singing in your live language. You happen to tune in at 8 p.m., which is typically television viewing hours. But because you are typically mobile first, you would see that live stream, you would enjoy that live stream, and you would want to maybe send a virtual gift to express yourself. So we are working on the virtual gifts as well. How do they become a means of expression? How does the language use case deep down even further? Can we go hyper local there? And how do we sort of create more interactive communities? That helps activation, that helps retention, and that helps free to paid conversion. And gradually our ARPU and other metrics sort of go up. So that's the gamut.
All right. All right. Before I let you go, then the big milestones that you're focused on in the next 12 to 15 months?
The biggest business milestone for us would be hitting a 500 crore annual run rate, along with unit economics profitability. That's the number one.
All right, Saurabh, big growth plans there. Thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on Startup Street. And we wish you all the best on this journey going forward.
Well, on that note,